Well, that all started when my dad was in engineering at Oregon State, and when he started in 1924, and he graduated a 4-year course in engineering, and 3 years were straight A's, and that stipulated me into going into engineering, and I was a complete failure grade-wise according to that. But I did all right. I came out, and I learned where to find the answers, and that's the important thing. Well, it was quite a bit different than it is now. They didn't have all the fancy equipment and computers that they do, where the staff sits at a desk and looks on the computer. We didn't have desks then. And we worked with slide rules, not with computers. The slide rule was our computer. And that's how all the powerhouses were designed. My dad was an engineer, and he was working for the Corps of Engineers on the design of Bonneville Dam locks. And the lock which he designed was the largest single lift lock in the world when he built it. And he was quite a successful engineer. And when President Roosevelt came in 1937, he had a pretty high position with the Bonneville BPA, and he was invited to come to the ceremony with President Roosevelt speaking and dedicating the dam. And my dad invited me to go with him. And we had a front row seat, which was pretty enormous for me, sitting there and waving to the president, and he waved back at me. Of course, I was in the crowd when he waved. But that was quite an experience. When I went to work, it was after World War II, but having had the World War II set a stage for the country, knowing that they better be prepared with power, and it was necessary. And several of these dams were pre-authorized by Congress, but some things were never done. But after the war, they took a hold and they went ahead full blast. And they worked on these projects continuously, one after the other. We started with McNary up at Umatilla, and then got into the Dalles, and then John Day, and then then Chief Joseph. And we were going full blast continuously. I'm very proud that myself and several other very, very qualified engineers, besides being civil, they were electrical, mechanical, architectural. We had the whole scope, and we all worked together. And our part of it as a civil engineer was to make sure that our design accommodated the mechanical and the electrical needs for the powerhouse. And that was fun, working with the electrical and mechanical and turbine design. That was a mistake, but no, I was very flattered. I was also the first class of fellows in military engineers. That was even the most proud one. Wow. Especially when they're in projects like building dams or powerhouses, you've got to have a good relationship with your fellow engineers. And it develops that, as far as my experience, it's lifelong friends.